when we think about the holiday of Hanukkah, it's interesting because the Yom Tov of Hanukkah, at least the narrative of the holiday, is not recorded in the Mishnah, which is the text that was written at that period of time, and perhaps because it was so prevalent and it was so knowable to everybody that it didn't have to be written. But in the Talmud does record the story of Hanukkah. And in recording the story of Hanukkah, the Talmud describes, in Shabbos, describes the events. And then it says that the miracle occurs with this oil, with this jug of oil. Instead of lasting for one day, it lasts for an entire 8 days. And then the Talmud concludes, L'shana acheres, in the following year, the next year, they established Limei Halavoi for days of thanksgiving and giving praise. Which is a very interesting phrase, the way the Talmud describes it, is that they waited for the next year to dedicate these days as a holiday. You know, if it was something miraculous that happened at that period of time, it should have been established immediately as a holiday. When you have a celebration, let's say you have an anniversary, and you establish today as your anniversary because that's the day you get married, you don't wait for the next year to celebrate and say today, okay, we're going to celebrate as an anniversary. But immediately that day is dedicated as a special day. So why wait till the next year? And the deeper reason for that is because the sages that lived at that period of time wanted to know whether what gave rise to the potential of the Hanukkah miracle is still relevant every single year. It's not enough. We don't just celebrate things that happened in the past. Time is not seen purely as linear, which is that time is moving forward. It's not seen as cyclical, which is that we're repeating events that happen, but it's seen as spiral, which means there's a movement upward. And with the movement upward is a movement, we're touching the same points as the cycle of the year of last year, but we're reaching to a higher place. So they wanted to know the next year, when we want to establish the days as a special days for Hanukkah, could we have access to the same power that created the Hanukkah miracle originally? Could we have access to that power? Is there something inherent in these days that allows us to have access to that? And this is the story. When we look at the word Chanukah, we have the word Chanu, which is rest, and Chafhei, which is on the 25th day. That's literally the pshat level, the literal interpretation level, is that it's the rest of the 25th day. We also have that it falls out in the month of Kislev. And we have to understand if the month of Kislev and the 25th day have something especially inherent that's related to the Hanukkah story. And could we recreate that in our own lives when we celebrate Hanukkah? So the Kabbalists have pointed out that the word Kislev is Kes, which means the hidden, Lamed Vav, which is the 36. The hidden 36, which is called, in another way of phrasing it, is called the Oragonas, the hidden light. We know that when Adam and Eve are created, they're created on Friday, and for the first 12, which is Friday, and then 24, 36 hours in total, they're in the Garden of Eden. So the first 36 hours of Adam and Eve, which represents inwardly the first 36 hours of our own self, which is our deeper level of our consciousness, exist within the place of the Oragonas, within the place of this hidden light. That's related to the 36. And the sages of the Talmud tell us in the Medrash that this light of the Oragonas, of the hidden light, of the 36 lights, were hidden then in the Talmud, in the Torah. And interestingly enough, there are actually 36 tractates in the Talmud itself. What is the 36 lights and what is the Oragonas? What is this hidden light? So there's, we see that in the Torah describes creation, and with regards to creation of the light, that there's Vayomer Hashem Yehi Or, Hashem says let there be light, and there's a certain light, a mysterious light that's created. This is the light of the first day of creation. This is called the Oragonas, the hidden light. This first light that existed on the first day, the word Or appears 5 times. That's the beginning of the book of Genesis. In the beginning of the book of Shmos, which is the book of Exodus, the word Sneh, when Moses encounters the burning bush, appears also the word Sneh appears 5 times. What is this light that Moses appreciates when he experiences the burning bush? So the Zohar writes that there is 2 types of light. There is lower fire and higher fire. Lower fire represents a fire that in order for this fire to exist, it has to eliminate something else in its process. So let's say you have a candle and you have a flame. So in order for the flame to exist, it has to burn the wick and the oil. So it's eliminating something else in order to exist. That's the lower fire. Higher fire is a fire that exists simultaneously with the thing that it exists with. And it doesn't have to eliminate the other thing in order to exist. That's the higher dimension of fire. In other words, it exists outside the reality of a duality. Duality is that it's an either-or. And in an either-or reality, the light has to consume the other in order to exist. And this represents a light of the Ora Achdus, the light of the place of unity. And the place of unity doesn't have to cancel anything out to exist. This is the higher light. So when Moses encounters a burning bush, what does he see? He sees something amazing. He sees that there's a light in the fire, there's a fire in the bush. V'hasneh ein ukol, but the bush is not being consumed. This is very unusual. Not that there's a fire, a magical fire that's occurring, but the fire exists and it's not consuming the bush. This, to him, represents the higher fire, because it's a fire that exists from the place of unity. It doesn't have to cancel out the bush in order to exist. This is actually this is the light of the Or Hagonas that was concealed in the beginning of creation. How do we reveal this light in our own life? The answer is that this light actually exists always with us. You know, when the story of Adam and Eve, when Adam, with actually the story when they eat from the tree of knowledge, which represents the tree of opposites and duality, he hears a voice that says, Ayeka, where are you? So the Medrash, and the Yalkut writes that the word Ayeka, Aleph Yud Chaf Hey, is the numeric value of 36. So Ayeka means where are you, but it also deeply means where is your light? Where is our light? That's the question that Hashem is asking of Adam, and that's the question that Hashem is asking us continuously. Where is our light? And the answer is that our light is always there. And sometimes, in order to reveal the deeper light that exists within us at all times, that's always present with us at every moment, that Shekhinah is present, that is always constantly with us and doesn't consume us, but is always present with us, whether we're in an up or we're in a down, we're in exile, whether we're in exile or redemption, that light always exists with us. And sometimes the only way that we discover this light of the Shekhinah that's always with us at all times is precisely from the place of the darkness. Because when it's a place of light, it feels good, you feel holy, you feel connected, and you feel high. But what happens in a time when you're feeling low, and you're feeling not connected, and you have a lot of questions? Sometimes the questions themselves allow you to see that the answer is already always there from the begin with, and there is no question. So the question, the darkness, the exile, is what brings you to reveal the light that's already there. That's the deeper story of Chanukah. Now, that is the light that was revealed during the miracle that occurred a few thousand years ago during the story of Chanukah, and it's the light that we continuously are revealing every time we light the Chanukah menorah. You know, one of the big questions that is asked by the Beis Yosef and other greats have asked this for many centuries is, if it says that they found the jug of oil, and the jug of oil was only going to last for 1 day, and it lasted for 8 days, so the miracle is only 7 days. So why celebrate the miracle for 8 days? We should celebrate only for 7 days. There's hundreds of different answers to that. Even in the Code of the, the Jewish Law and the Shulchan Aruch, there's many answers that are given, whether it was divided into eighths or each night burned another eighth. And all the answers that are focusing, all the answers that are given are focusing only on the dimensions of the shemen, on the oil, whether the quantity of the oil or the quality of the oil. There's another way of looking at it that has nothing to do with the oil. The miracle was not the oil, the miracle was the light that was revealed in the oil. The question why there was an 8-day miracle is because the oil burned for 8 days was not that the oil every day went down or every day burnt an eighth. The oil was never consumed, none of the 8 days. It was because on Chanukah there was a revealing of the higher light of the Or Hagonos, which is the Kislev, the hidden 36 lights, and that was revealed that night. And because that light was revealed for those 8 days, the light exists while the oil still exists, and the oil doesn't get lower. So for 8 days the oil did not burn. It's not a question why there was an extra day, because it's not the issue of the oil, but it's actually issue of the quality of the light that was burning. This was a light that was part of a revealing, was a physical manifestation of the Or Hagonos. And this potential of revealing that light is something that we can do every year, and specifically in this period of time. That's what the sages of the Talmud are saying. L'shana acheres, for the next year, the sages realize that we have the potential every year to access that hidden light during this period of time. And precisely because it's the darkest night, precisely because it's the darkest night of the year. And incidentally, according to some of the students of the Baal Shem Tov, the night that the Chanukah miracle originally occurred was the darkest night. That was the winter solstice. That was the longest night of the year. Precisely because of our darkness, and despite our darkness, we still persevere. We still give thanks. And we have hallelujah. We still give praise and we give thanks. And we still are connected with Hashem. Precisely because of that, we reveal deeply within ourselves those hidden lights. That's what the Talmud, we say that the Talmud, which represents the Machshakim Hashivani, which is the darkness, from the place of darkness I reach clarity. That's the definition of the Talmud, Babylonian Talmud, which means that it's a place of concealment. But from the place of concealment of question, that's the place that we even get into a higher answer. And the highest answer we get, is that the answer is already there within the question. And that Hashem is always already present within us at every moment. And that's what we have that potential to create and to reveal that through our lighting of the Chanukah menorah.